It's AR the Equalizer, the data scientist of boxing, spinning the block for another breakdown. Let's get into it. In today's video, this is a reevaluation of the overall skill set of Terence Crawford. This channel has become increasingly popular, based off of these overall skill set breakdowns. It causes a lot of debate. People have their opinions about if I'm rating the guy too high or if I'm rating the guy too low. But if you guys know anything about the EA Sports franchise game of Fight Night, they gave ratings for the boxers who were licensed to be on the video game, and no boxer was ever rated overall at 99%. The highest overall percentage was always Sugar Ray Robinson, who campaigned at welterweight in the 1940s, moved up to middleweight in the late 1940s, early 1950s, and was a reigning champion for a long time. He rated at 96% at his highest point. Floyd Mayweather was never licensed to be in a video game for Fight Night champion. I believe Fight Night round 2, he was licensed to be on that game, and his rating was like a 91, 92% at that point. But we all know that, Floyd Mayweather, he's one of the best ever. Lace up the gloves and grace the ring. And in today's video, we're breaking down the overall skill set of Terence Crawford. Now, I did a video on Terence Crawford previously. I say about roughly 2 months ago, maybe like a month and 3 weeks ago, and I had him rated overall at 92%, and this was prior to the July 29th 2023 showdown between himself and Errol Spence Jr. and the remarkable performance that he put on Saturday night against Errol Spence Jr. It caused for me to reevaluate his skill set, because I confess that I underrated Terence Crawford, not criminally. It's not that I undershot so much to where, let's see, how can I put it, to where I was just totally wrong. A lot of how I broke down Terence Crawford's skill set is, it was hypothetical. I gave a hypothesis for, it's an educated guess. There's no real measurement to quantify what any boxer does in the ring, because a lot of it is just instinct and his game planning. You know what I mean? So, but I try my best to, break these ratings down to where it makes sense, trying to use as much data as possible. And the channel is growing from it. You know what I mean? The results speak for itself. I created this channel. My channel has been around for about 2 years, but it was 2 months ago, early June of this year is when I started to do these boxer overall skill set breakdowns, and to just be I thought to be not just a content creator for the sport of boxing, but someone who, my name is AR the Equalizer. So I created this channel to equalize the sport of boxing, to get rid of bias. And people can say, oh, well, you've made a few biased videos against Terence Crawford, which is definitely not the case. Come on, man. It's definitely not a hate channel towards any boxer. It's just me giving my opinion. And I've been stating from day one that Terence Crawford, he's one of the best in this generation right now. Definitely prior to July 29th, he was number one on my pound for pound list, for sure. Now, I said that him and Errol Spence was a 50-50 fight. No doubt about it. You know what I mean? And a lot of people seen it as 50-50 prior to what actually happened in the ring. And, in a nutshell, man, this channel was grown based off of the various overall skill sets that I've done. And I have to do Terence Crawford a solid and reevaluate the overall skill set that he has. Now, I'll say that I got it right. I would say that I got a lot of things right, first and foremost. And, the performance that Terence Crawford had put on, it was so tremendous. It was so tremendous that I have to spin the block and break it down again. Early June, I rated Terence Crawford at a 91.97%, which if you round it up to the nearest 10, you get 92%. Today, after July 29th, I have Terence Crawford rated overall at a 94.47%. And I think that, that's his just due. A lot of people will say, yeah, now you want to hop on it. Man, I'm not hopping on bandwagon or nothing. I've always been a fan of Terence Crawford. It's just the brilliant performance that he put on against one of the best fighters, one of the best boxers, of this generation, and Errol Spence Jr. I have to reevaluate and bring him up. So, I had his punch form in a previous video at 96.25% overall. I had his hand positioning rated at 90%, which is an A-. I've modified that and brought that up to his hand positioning for defense and offensive attacks to 95%, which is a solid A. And I had his boxing stance at 100%, proper footwork 95%. I'm keeping all of that the same. His proper punch form 100%. Yes, I said it, proper punch form in the previous video was 100%, and I give that to him, today. I've always seen Terence Crawford's punch form as like the best in boxing, you know what I mean? Actually, some of the best snaps on punches that I've seen in the ring, you know what I mean? Outside of a Thomas Hearns, outside of a Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, the greats. He's up there. He's 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. He's in that elite category when it comes to proper punch form. In overall boxing form, I've updated at 97.50%, which is an A+. In which previously it was 96.25%, just 75 basis points shy of an A+, but he's well deserving of it. The next skill pillar that's upgraded is physical capabilities / conditioning, rated at 92.14%, in which I've upgraded his punching power from 86% to 89%. I've upgraded his hand speed from 88% to 91%. Foot speed from, 86% to 91%. And punch resistance, I didn't even rate that in the previous video, but as I see it today, I rated at 93%. Many people, would question even this still, but this is an all-time scale. It's not me comparing Terence Crawford to active fighters. I'm comparing them to, the greatest fighters of all time. I'm comparing them on an all-time scale. You know what I mean? Regardless of weight class, this isn't a pound for pound skill set thing. This is an ultimate boxing skill set, because skill is skill regardless of weight, right? It's not, this person is the best at 130 pounds. You know what I mean? So he gets 100%. But if he moves up, he drops down. And no. Skill is skill. You know what I mean? Skill is skill. If that makes any sense. And the skill components that I have upgraded for Terence Crawford's physical capabilities / conditioning is four. It's 4 skill components. You know what I mean? It's 4 skill components, and it's not major, it's not major upgrades. It's only a few basis points that I'm putting it up, but the performance was so brilliant against, one of the best guys, and to make him look average. And not just that, the things that he was showing me, the ripples in his game, you know what I mean? His boxing IQ on full display. Him showing me the various tricks and tools that he have in his toolbox. And the crazy thing about it is that he didn't show everything July 29th. And it just caused for me, it caused for me to do a solid for Terence Crawford. You know what I mean? Just because, I made a video at first and rated him at 92%, I had to spin around and say, you know what, man, this guy, he deserves for me to, to give him a little bit more credit on that all-time scale. And if you guys respect Fight Night boxer ratings more than mine, let me tell you this. Sugar Ray Robinson rated at 96% over every other boxer all time, over every other boxer on the video game, right? And I'm not comparing my ratings to Fight Night. You know what I'm saying? Fight Night champion, Fight Night round 3 or round 4. It's just what it is, you know what I mean? And Terence Crawford being at a 94% overall, that's 2 basis points lower than Sugar Ray Robinson. A boxer who many consider as the greatest of all time, like really the greatest of all time, pound for pound, bar none. You know what I mean? But he's up there. Bud is in that conversation. You know what I mean? And I'll go to another skill pillar that I upgraded, which is Intangibles. In the previous video, I had them rated at 89%. You know, all 4 skill components of this skill pillar, I had to upgrade. In the previous video, I had his head movement at 91, anticipation / effective blocking at 86, his effective combination punches rated at 88%, and his counter punching rated at 91%. As it stands today, I have Terence Crawford rated in the Intangibles department overall at 93.25%. Head movement, 91%, A-. Anticipation / effective blocking, 95%. Effective combination punches, 93%. Counter punching ability, 94%. After what was shown July 29th, and not just from that performance, but as I look at his career as a whole, it all makes sense now. And some can say, oh man, you got it wrong the first time, you can't get it. Man, I get it. I know it's people that don't use their brain to think, and all they can do is just spew out negativity. This ain't for y'all, you know what I mean? This is for those who do appreciate these breakdowns. And, you know, me giving Terence Crawford his credit as a 2-time undisputed champion. You know what I mean? 2 different weight classes. Can possibly be undisputed in 3 weight classes. If, you know, he goes up to challenge Jermell Charlo, and if Jermell Charlo can possibly retrieve the WBO strap that he's being stripped of for moving up to fight Canelo instead of his mandatory in Tim Tszyu. But that's a whole nother video for a whole nother day. Terence Crawford, man, he's great. He's very capable of beating Jermell Charlo quite handily, in my opinion. And we'll get on to the last skill pillar that I updated for Terence Bud Crawford, and it's only 1 skill component that I had to modify. But I had a strategy execution rated at 92.66%. I had his opponent weakness exploitation rated at 88%. And I'll explain why I had this at a B+. It's because I felt as if his opposition wasn't the stiffest. You know what I mean? Prior to defeating Errol Spence, I felt as if his opposition wasn't the stiffest, and his best competition possibly being, well, his best credible opponent possibly being a Sean Porter. And he stopped Sean Porter. You know what I mean? He stopped him. But even still with that performance, I'm like, opponent weakness exploitation, you know, I've seen better, you know what I mean? Because it was a competitive fight. And that was just me, you know, being a hard critic. But as it stands today, after, you know, the performance on July 29th, and also just looking at his career overall, I have his strategy execution rated overall at 95%, solid A. If I had his pace dictation previously at 97%, which is A+. Pace dictation, yes, I said that. Awareness of opponent strategy, 93%. And opponent weakness exploitation, previously at, like I said, 88%, but I've upgraded and modified it to 95% overall. Solid A. And that, I mean, if you round up everything, you know, if you add up everything from the boxing form, which is 97.50% A+, the other skill pillar, second skill pillar, physical capability / conditioning, 92.14%. You add that up. You add up the skill pillar of Intangibles, 93.25%. And you add up strategy execution, which I have rated today at 95%. You divide that by 4, right? You divide what you added up by 4, you get 94.47%. Solid 94%, solid A. Terence Crawford, he's one of the best of all time. You know what I mean? He has such a dominating performance against Errol Spence that people are now comparing him to a prime Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? Against a prime Floyd Mayweather, people are wondering if he could possibly defeat the guy who calls himself the best ever, TBE. And we've seen Floyd Mayweather dominate and make champions look like amateurs. Like, you know what I mean? Fight after fight, not just one guy, but multiple guys. You know what I mean? Dominant performances over Gennaro Hernandez, Diego Corrales, Angel Manfredi. You know, he had a tough fight with Jose Luis Castillo. Totally outclassed him in the rematch because the fight was so close. Totally outclassed him. You know, dominating performances over Zab Judah. Very dominant performance over Arturo Gatti. And the list goes on for Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather has made all of his opponents look like they were not on his level, and like he was on the apex level of boxing. And I still feel that way today. Like, Floyd Mayweather, he's the epitome of the boxer that does everything right. But as you look at Terence Crawford, he does a lot of things right too. If we're just judging, you know, his whole career and then capping it with his performance against Errol Spence, July 29th, he looks to be the ultimate complete fighter with punching power who could stop you in your tracks. You know, so hey, I had to do this solid, man, and update this overall skill set ready for Terence Bud Crawford. Now, if you guys want the super in-depth analysis of how I'm breaking down each skill component, feel free to go to the previous video for the sake of getting the explanation of each skill components. But, you know, for time's sake, didn't want to go too in depth with everything. I just wanted to do a solid and update and let everyone know that I'm well aware, you know what I mean, of misspeaking sometimes and, you know, jumping the gun. And it is what it is. This is all opinionated, but I believe it's valid. You know what I mean? For a hypothesis is an educated guess, and I have the data to back it up. For this is the data scientist of boxing, AR the equalizer. Hey, if you like this content, smash the like button, please. Share this video with your family and friends in the boxing community. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell for it's nothing but heat that I'm dropping. It's nothing but heat that I'm dropping frequently. Not just every once in a blue moon. Frequently, we're dropping heat. But until next time, family, it's been real. We out.